Good evening, Source Nation, and welcome to the SRN Live Television. I am Steve Manderson, your host for Sports Tuesday this evening. Now, I hope everybody had a great day today. Hope everybody had a great week last week and a great weekend. Now, this show is sponsored by Zulina Health, Wellness, and Fitness, Paper to Film Productions, Revolution Mills, Renovations, Meet My Types Matchmaking, Blend to Blend Juice Bar Boutique, Urban Grandstand Digital, and New Covenant of Praise Worship Center. Okay. As I said, hope everybody had a great weekend, great week last week, because these next 4 days, well, starting with yesterday, um, no baseball. Reason why? It is the All-Star break. And yesterday we had the Home Run Derby at Nationals Park. This is where the Washington Nationals play. Tonight at 8 o'clock is the All-Star game. And then after that, after today, Wednesday and Thursday, no baseball. So I'm telling you, it, I don't know for you baseball fanatics, I don't know how you're going to deal with no baseball until Friday, but that's the way it is. And look, players need a break, and sometimes I need one too, so I can just chill out and focus on other sports as well. So, as I said tonight, the All-Star game, American League, National League in the home of the National League ballpark, home of the Washington Nationals. Right now, what I want to do is give you the starting lineups for tonight's event. And I'm going to start with the visiting American League. Leading off, Mookie Betts from the Boston Red Sox. Batting second, Jose Altuve from the Houston Astros. Batting third, Mike Trout from the Los Angeles Angels. Batting fourth, JD Martinez from the Boston Red Sox. Batting fifth, Jose Ramirez from the Cleveland Indians. Batting sixth, Aaron Judge from my New York Yankees. Batting seventh, Manny Machado, who's everybody's been uh, talking about over the last month or so. And I'll tell you some news about him after I go through the lineups. He'll be batting seventh behind Aaron Judge. Batting eighth, Jose Abreu from the Chicago White Sox. And batting ninth, Salvador Perez from the Kansas City Royals. Pitching, the starting pitcher, Chris Bale from the Red Sox. Okay, I got something to talk about with that. Now, for the National League, leading off, Javier Baez from the Chicago Cubs. Batting second, Nolan Arenado from the Colorado Rockies. Batting third, Paul Goldschmidt from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Batting fourth in the cleanup spot, Freddie Freeman from the Atlanta Braves. Batting fifth, Matt Kemp from the LA Dodgers. Batting sixth, Bryce Harper from the Washington Nationals. Batting seventh, Nick Markakis from the Atlanta Braves. Batting eighth, Brandon Crawford from the San Francisco Giants. And batting ninth, Wilson Contreras from the Chicago Cubs. And the starting pitcher, a no-brainer here, Max Scherzer from the Washington Nationals. Now, both lineups, when you talk about both lineups, uh, the American League to me has the more power, and especially from the top, actually the top four. Well, from 1 to 7, when you think about it, it's the potent lineup. Starting off with Mookie Betts having a tremendous year. Then you got last year's American League MVP Jose Altuve uh, batting second. He's always getting on base. Mike Trout hitting behind him. So Altuve is going to get some pretty good pitches to hit. JD Martinez hitting behind Trout. He's also having a great year. He's got over 70 RBIs. And then you've got Aaron Judge, Jose Ramirez hitting behind Martinez. Then you got Judge hitting behind Ramirez and Manny Machado hitting behind Judge. I'm going to tell you right now, if this was a regular season lineup, this is a pitcher's nightmare. I'll tell you right now, this is a pitcher's nightmare. But I favor the American League. The National League, though, um, their lineup is decent, but compared, it doesn't really shoot out at you like the American League lineup. But you never know. This could be a situation where nobody's sitting on the American League tonight. Maybe come out with just one run, maybe two, and the National League come out with like 10. You know, it all depends on how the pitching goes. Now, I got an issue with the starting pitching. Not so much the National League. I said last week, Matt Scherzer should be the starting pitcher for the National League. He's with the Washington Nationals. The game is played in Nationals Park. That's a no-brainer. Okay, he gets to start in front of his home fans. Now, the problem I have is in the American League. Chris Sale having a great year for the Red Sox, true. But Luis Severino should be, in my opinion, the starting pitcher for the American League. Guy has the best record in the American League at 14-2. Come on. I mean, I don't understand that one. I don't understand it at all. So, but he will be the second pitcher coming out of the bullpen after Chris Sale. In the National League, Jacob deGrom, who is the only Met representative, and deservingly so, and he will be coming out of the bullpen, the second pitcher coming out of the pen tonight after Matt Scherzer. I don't have a problem with that, although you're going to have some Met fans and some baseball fans in general uh, thinking that DeGrom should start for the National League. That might be true based on the Major League leading ERA that he possesses. But you know what? I'm not going to complain. First of all, the only reason he is on this squad is because of that ERA. His record is only 5-4. Now, it's really not his fault. Okay, he's pitching his butt off, but at the same time, he's not getting any run support. But he hasn't gotten run support pretty much all year. This guy's with his ERA, he should have at least 12 wins. Instead, he only has 5. He actually should have about 14. He should have about as many as Severino. But it is not to be. There's a lot of talk about DeGrom being traded, uh, to a playoff contending team. Some people, some Yankee fans want DeGrom to come to the Yankees, and I'm like, that's not going to happen. I can't see the Mets trading. If DeGrom being traded anyway, if he was to get traded, which I don't think so, I don't see him going to the Yankees. No. So, Yankee fans, get that idea out of your head. Also, to get out of your head is the fact that Manny Machado is going to be in Yankee pinstripes come Friday. That's not going to happen either. Word has it that the front runner to land Machado is the Philadelphia Phillies, and that makes a lot of sense. Okay, in a in a National League East where you have it's surprisingly competitive, with the exception of the Mets and the Marlins. Uh, you got Atlanta, you got the Phillies, and once the Nationals get their act together, they're going to be in the mix too. So if it is true that the Phillies are going to land Machado, that is an excellent, excellent move. It means that now the thing is, um, hopefully for the Phillies, Machado could take them not only to the playoffs, but a possibility of going to the World Series. But we'll see. The thing is, Machado will then become a rental, meaning he will become a free agent at the end of the year, which means you're going to have to pay this guy to stay with your team for next year. And he's going to command a lot of money. Definitely at least 150 million, maybe even more. Okay. So if the Phillies do get him, they need to keep in mind that that's going to be his price tag if they want to keep him for next year. All right. So um, it's right now though. It's the All Star game, and I want to talk also about the home run derby last night. Really, the only really known slugger in that derby was Bryce Harper, and a lot of people were hoping to see Aaron Judge. He said no, and I don't blame him. Okay, he participated last year in the Derby. He won it, but he kind of suffered some ramifications from it. Um, he wound up with a sore shoulder. It affected his swing. He struck out a lot. Didn't have a good uh, month of August, to be honest with you, and did recover enough to take the team to the playoffs last year, to the point of being one game shy of going to the World Series. But he said he did his time with it, and I'll tell you something about Aaron Judge. This is a smart kid. This is a very smart kid. This guy is really thinking about the future of the Yankees, the team he is employed. He's a team guy, and he's basically looking out for the team. Okay, so he doesn't want to risk what happened to him last year after participating in the Derby, and I say smart move. And some other players are following suit in that situation where they don't want to play, they don't want to participate. The fans are upset because they come to the All Star events to see the home run derby. And that's fine. But listen, these players are looking out for themselves, man, and their health. And I saw what it did to David Wright a few years ago when the All Star game was in, I think it was in Pittsburgh, and he participated in the home run derby, and pretty much after he wasn't the same hitter. The home runs decreased, and I think he developed a sore shoulder himself. So, I mean, it's great to see these guys hit him out, but you got to constantly hit him out, hit him out. It affects your swing. It really does. So, um, good for him. And I'll tell you, people, do not be surprised if down the road Aaron Judge will be the next Yankee captain. He has the leadership qualities, plus the height. I mean, guy's what 6'7", but that's a whole different. I'm only kidding there, but he has the leadership. A well-spoken young man. You put a mic in front of him, and you definitely know there's no nonsense coming out of his mouth. So uh, I I believe a few years down the road, after he continues to have the success that he's having, truly believe that he will be the next Yankee captain, following in the footsteps of Derek Jeter. All right. As I said, this is the All Star break, which means now the end of the first half of the season, which actually went longer than usual. This was a long first half of the season, but uh, let me just go over how the divisions are looking going into the second half, starting this Friday. I'll start with the American League. American League East, Boston in first. Right now, a comfortable 4.5 game lead on the Yankees. They're 68 and 30. They are 9-1 in their last 10 games. They're not losing. And the thing is, they are beating up on the bad teams as well as the good teams. They're 4.5 games ahead of second place Yankees. This is wild. The Yankees are 62 and 33, but they're 4.5 games out of first place. This is how tough the Red Sox have been. Okay. And the Yankees not doing shabby. The thing is, though, what's kept them behind recently is the fact that they didn't have a good series against the Orioles in Baltimore, and they are not. They don't. They haven't played well against Tampa, the Tampa Rays, either this year. Those are two teams in their division that they needed to really take command of. But it's so odd. Uh, they just recently, this past weekend, they split the series against Cleveland and in Cleveland, but overall, uh, the Yankees have won that season series 5-2. They also have a series they that won this season series against the Astros. I mean, But these are two playoff teams, and the Astros being the defending world champs. But against Tampa and Baltimore, the Yankees seems to have problems. That has to be straightened out in the second half of the season. And I mentioned Tampa Bay. Surprisingly, 49 and 47, 2 games over 500, where in the beginning of the season, the critics had Tampa near the bottom. But it has, with all the free agents, all the players that left during because of free agency, and that includes including Evan Longoria. So, but Kevin Cash has done a great job as managing this team, and they may not make the playoffs this year, but right now, the way I see things, when it comes voting for manager, the American League Manager of the Year, Kevin Cash is going to get a lot of votes. Trust me. Toronto slumping badly. 9 games under 500 in fourth place, and in Baltimore, it's amazing how as excellent a manager as Buck Showalter is. This this is a team that has no pitching, and their hitting has slumped off uh, over the last couple of years. We're at the All Star break, and they don't even have 30 wins. They are 28 and 69. That's that's they've only won 16 games at home. They're 16 and 33 at home. It's amazing um how Buck Showalter is still employed at this time. But we'll see. Uh, I don't see much change for the Orioles. Their pitching is just lousy. All right. In the Central, Cleveland in a weak division, 7.5 games ahead of second place Minnesota, who have who is 6 games under 500. Cleveland at 42 and at 52 and 43 came off a weekend series with the Yankees in which they split. And Terry Francona, they've been slumping lately. They need bullpen help. Okay, and they could use another starter as well. But right now in that division, they're comfortable there. The other 4 teams in the division all have losing records: Minnesota, Detroit, Chicago, and Kansas City. The other team that does not have 30 wins yet, they are at 27 and 68. All right. In the American League West, very tough division there. You've got Houston in first place, 5 games ahead of Seattle, who surprisingly, and I said this last week, they have played excellent baseball since the suspension of Robinson Cano for the PEDU, the 80-game suspension. He is due to come back around mid August. Okay, and hopefully um, the chemistry now doesn't change when Cano comes back. But Seattle in second place, 58 and 39. They've slumped lately. They've lost 4 in a row. So this four-day break for Seattle could do them a lot of good. The surprise team in the American League right now, to me, has been the Oakland A's. Nobody's really talked about them, but all they've done is play some very good baseball in this first half of the season. They're in third place, 55 and 42, um, which is excellent. They have an excellent road record, 10 games over 500. Unfortunately, only 3 games over 500 at home. That has to improve if they need to stay in the playoff hunt. And then you have the Angels, 500 team, even with Mike Trout. Well, actually, they're 1 game over 500, 49 and 48, but still. Um, this is a team that has an aging Albert Pujols and the superstar in Mike Trout, and they still uh, just one game over 500. It's amazing how, and I've said this before, it's amazing how Mike Scherzer still has a job. Okay. Um, Texas in last place. Listen, Texas is Texas at this point. They have a rebuilding. Listen, right now they've got Bartolo Colon on that team. So what does that tell you? 45 years old. I mean, God bless him, but he, at this stage of his career, he's not taking anybody to the promised land. That is it. National League, the National League East. Philly right now in first place, a half a game ahead of Atlanta. Both of these teams have been the surprise in the National League and surprise in baseball. I mean, I looked at these two teams being near the bottom of the Eastern Division and Washington being in first place. That has not happened. Washington 500 record at 48 and 48. They have definitely underachieved. They have definitely got. This is a very talented team that um, has not gotten it together this year, and this is Bryce Harper's walk year. So this is going to be very interesting as to what happens at the end of this season. Uh, will the Nationals be able to afford him, or will he go to the highest bidder? We'll see about that. As I said, with Philly, they from the reports says that they're the front runners to get Manny Machado. So in a tight race in the National League East, his addition to the ball club is greatly needed and would be a very smart move in regards to the Philly organization. The National League Central, the Cubs back in first place, taking advantage of a slumping Milwaukee team who has lost six in a row right now. Chicago back in first by 2.5 games over Milwaukee. Milwaukee being in first place most of the year has slumped badly, and they're at 55 and 43. The Cubs um, on a winning streak. They are 55 and 38. So this is not good for Milwaukee right now. They definitely need the 4 days off and see if they can recharge their batteries there. St. Louis in third. They are uh, 2 games over 500. They're definitely underachieving. The news over the weekend, uh, Matheny, Mike Matheny, fired as manager of the Cardinals, and there's been some issues with him in regards to the ball club. 7 seasons with the Cardinals, one National League pennant, and he hasn't taken the team to the playoffs the last couple of years, and management just felt enough was enough. Also, word has it that there was a lot of friction in the clubhouse between Matheny and several players. One in particular, Yadier Molina. Yeah, so their all-star catcher. So things are not good there, and we'll see what happens. Rumor has it that one of the front runners for the managerial job will be one Joe Girardi. Um, that would be surprising. I would see Girardi going to the Cubs, being that's where he's from. But right now, Joe Madden's doing such a fantastic job with the Cubs. He's not going anywhere. So if Girardi wants to get back into managing, this might be the opportunity for him with the Cardinals, and see if he can, with his leadership skills, let's see what he can do there. So we'll see what happens. We'll follow that. And then you have the Pirates, one game under 500, and Cincinnati. Now, let me tell you about Cincinnati right now. They've been playing some very good baseball over the last month and a half. Um, when the season began, they were horrible. They were like close to 30 games under 500. They played some pretty good baseball. They are now at the break, 10 games under 500 at this point. Matt Harvey, who was traded to the Reds from the Mets, uh, has has pitched very well of late. He's winning games, and as a result, Cincinnati's been winning as well. Now, they're not going to make the playoffs by any stretch of the imagination, but this is a team right now. If they continue to improve in the second half of the season, they're going to be one dangerous team to play in September for those teams that are looking for a playoff spot, whether it be, and especially in the Central, whether it be the division or a wild card. So, uh, so teams in the National League better watch out for Cincinnati. They could be the team you don't want to play in September. In the National League West, the uh, the Dodgers in first place by half a game over Arizona, followed by Colorado at third, 6 games over 500 for Colorado. They're playing some excellent ball right now. They've won 5 in a row. You got the Giants at 50 and 48, and then you have um, San Diego pulling up the rear. They're going nowhere at 40 and 59. So it's the Dodgers have bounced back. They started the season slow. Did not have a good month of April going into May, but they've turned it on. They've played some good baseball, and we'll see. Right now, it's only 2 games separate the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, and the Rockies. So that's how tight that division is there. So the second half of the season will be very interesting for them. So that's pretty much what's going on in baseball. It's funny, the Yankees and the Mets will face each other on Friday once the break once the second half begins. That's going to be interesting. Um, certain players on the Mets are coming back. Supposedly, Cespedes, um, Syndergaard is already back on the pitching staff. That's a good sign as well. Um, a lot of turning attentions to the NBA. Summer League is wrapping up soon, and certain players have been looking pretty good. A lot of deals going on. The Nets have been doing some wheeling and dealing. They have nothing to lose. I'll be honest with you. They have nothing to lose. They got rid of Jeremy Lin, which I thought that was going to be difficult for them to do. They got rid of him. He's going to Denver. So we'll see how he goes. I tell you, smart move on the Nets part. I mean, Sean Marks as the GM so far has been notorious. I got to give him a lot of credit. A lot of credit that of what's going on. And he got rid of Dwight Howard on the cheap, a $5 million buyout there last week or so. And he got back 2 players that I think can make some valuable contributions to the Nets this year. One was Kenneth Faried from Denver, a rebounder, really tough, hard-nosed kind of player, of which the Nets can use. He could give you solid minutes, especially coming off the bench. The other player that they got, which I was surprised at, they got Shabazz Napier from Portland. This was the guy on the national championship team from UConn, from the University of UConn a few years ago. Um, he's another one that's of value coming off the bench as well, especially to help out D'Angelo Russell. So the Nets, as I said, their situation, they have nothing to lose. They have nothing to lose. This is kind of day. If you can make these deals, with very little what you got, and at the same time, slowly but surely collecting draft picks, um, that's great. That is great, and we'll see. We'll see how things go. Um, One move that I definitely have a problem with just recently, the Chicago Bulls signed Jabari Parker to a 2-year deal for $40 million. My reply to that is you have got to be out of your mind. Okay. Jabari Parker, I'm not saying he's not a bad player, but when he was with Milwaukee, he could not stay on the court. Okay. In the little time he was with Milwaukee, 2 torn ACLs on the same leg, back-to-back years. He has missed so much time, playing time. He actually played more games last year than at any other time in his short career. That being said, my question is, in a rebuilding year for the Bulls, why would you I mean, if you want to bring him on your team, that's fine. But at 2 years, at $40 million, that means this year coming up, he's making $20 million. 2019, he's going to be making $20 million. Are you out of your mind? He right now with the injury problems that he has, 1 year, 1 year. That's all I say. 1 year, and give him. If you want to give him some money, give him just 10 million. But my God, 2-year deal for 40 million. As I said, they're in a rebuilding year. You got that kind of money to throw around? All right, God bless you. Because I would not do it. Not to, not in regards to him. Okay, plain and simple. Okay. Um, some congratulations. Well, congratulations to France on winning the World Cup in soccer. Congratulations. They beat Croatia 4-2, and wow, I know that's their first championship in a long time, and but congratulations to them. Surprisingly, Brazil got knocked out early, which did not sit well with a lot of people. But hey, that's good. That's good. Um, Wimbledon. I want to say congratulations goes out to Novak Djokovic on winning his fourth Wimbledon Grand Slam and his 13th overall, beating Kevin Anderson. So uh, this guy's a very good tennis player, without a doubt, without a doubt. And congratulations to him. I didn't know he had 13 Grand Slams. That right there, that's amazing in itself. And winning Grand Slams is very, very hard to do. And he has won 13 of them. The biggest surprise that in the men's bracket of Wimbledon, the fact that Roger Federer got knocked out in the quarters. Oh, actually, in the semis. I was like, really? Wow. But it opened the door for Djokovic, because I think he was the favored to win it. Now, congratulations in the women's bracket. Congratulations to Alexandria Kerber, Angelique Kerber, for being the Wimbledon champion. This is her very first Wimbledon championship, her third Grand Slam overall, and in her, she defeated Serena Williams in straight sets. Um, Listen, it happens. Uh, Serena playing in her 10th her 10th Wimbledon finals. Okay, she had an opportunity to win her eighth uh, Wimbledon title and 24th Grand Slam overall. And unfortunately, it didn't happen. I mean, look, the fact that she made it to the finals. I mean, she's back on the court. Well, she's been playing. She played the Australian Open and and played Wimbledon. But the thing I'm trying to make here is that she gave birth 10 and a half months ago. And for her to play on the level that she played here at Wimbledon, that is amazing. That is amazing. But uh, she gave it her best. 36 years old. I mean, really, 36. Angelique Kerber is 30, younger, 6 years younger. But the fact that Serena made it to the finals was amazing. A lot of the top ranked women players got eliminated early in Wimbledon this year. That was kind of surprising as well. Stevens, she got knocked out early, and I would have loved to seen that match between those two. But you know, Serena has another shot at a Grand Slam win when she goes for the U.S. Open, and she's always the darling there at Flushing, Queens in New York. So we'll see. And speaking about Grand Slams in the women division, as I said, Serena uh, played in her 10th Wimbledon finals. I'm going to just run down in terms of some of the top female tennis players that have graced the courts over the last, I would say, 40 something years or so. And I'm going to go over their records and winning percentages and break it down. At the top of the list is Margaret Court. Okay. Overall Grand Slam record is 24 and 5, a winning percentage of 828. Breaking it down, she is 11 and 1 at the Australia Open, 5 and 1 with the French Open, 7 and 2 at Wimbledon. No, I'm sorry, 3 and 2 at Wimbledon, and in 5 and 1 with the U.S. Open. Now these numbers reflect the number of Grand Slam finals that they participated in their win and loss record. So as I said, Margaret Court heads the list at 24 and 5. Now, winning percentage 828. Serena is second. Overall Grand Slam finals record 23 and 7. If she had a won on Saturday, she would have been 24 and 6. She's 23 and 7, a 767 percentage. Breaking it down with her, the Australian Open she commands that tournament 7 and 1. The French Open is tougher. She's only been to 4 French Open finals. She's 3 and 1 there. Wimbledon is one of her best tournaments. With the loss, she is 7 and 3 there in the finals. And the U.S. Open, where she's always favored and people all over the world come to see in New York, she is 6 and 2 in U.S. Open finals. Okay, 767 winning percentage, 23 and 7 when she plays in the U.S. Open come the end of August, around August. She'll be trying for win number 24 overall and 7 and 2 in at the U.S. Open. Steffi Graf is third. Overall record of 22 and 9, 710 winning percentage. Breaking it down, Steffi is 4 and 1. She was 4 and 1 in the Australia Open, 6 and 3 in the French. That seems to be that one of her best tournaments that she likes to play. That she likes that clay surface. Wimbledon, 7 and 2. U.S. Open, 5 and 3. Like I said, overall, 22 and 9, 710 winning percentage. Now, here's some awesome ones. Helen Willis Moody, overall 19 and 3 overall with an 864 percentage. Okay, 864. It's amazing. She never played in the Australian. 4 and 0 at the French. Wimbledon was her baby, 8 and 1, and the U.S. Open 7 and 2. 19 and 3 overall in Grand Slam finals. That's amazing. 864 winning percentage. Martina Navratilova. Now, this is where the averages go down. She, surprisingly, 18 and 14 overall in Grand Slam finals. A 563 percentage. And breaking her down, 3 and 3 in the Australian, 2 and 4 in the French. Now, that's surprising. Her best event is Wimbledon, 9 and 3, and in the U.S. Open, 4 and 4. Wow, 2 and 4 at the French. A lot of people don't do well in the French. Really, you ask any of the top players, they're not thrilled to play there. Okay. Chris Everett, another one with a low winning percentage in the Grand Slam finals, 18 and 16 overall, and a 529 winning percentage. Uh, she's had trouble. She's had trouble with the Australians. She's 2-4 there. She's had great success at the French. She's 7-2 there. Wimbledon was bad for her, 3-7, and the U.S. Open 6-3. Hmm. Wow, 3-7 at Wimbledon. That's amazing. That's amazing. Well, and 2-4 the Australian. Billie Jean King in her career, 18 Grand Slam appearances, 12-6, a 667 percentage, 1-1 in Australian, 1-0 in the French, 6-3 in Wimbledon, and 4-2 at the U.S. Open. One would say, though, with the Australian and the French, she probably pulled out of those tournaments. Who knows? Back then, to only play in two finals, that's amazing. But hey, Maureen Connolly is the only undefeated when it comes to Grand Slam finals. She's 9-0, 1,000 winning percentage, 1-0 in the Australian, 2-0 in the French, 3-0 at Wimbledon, 3-0 at the U.S. Open. And then Monica Seles. Now, this woman, unfortunately, was not able to have the career that she should have had. She was successful, but in Grand Slam appearances, 9-4, a 692 winning percentage. It should have been better than that, only because she should have played longer. And 4-0 at the Australian, 3-1 at the French, 0-1 at Wimbledon, 2-2 at the U.S. Open. And the reason why I said that it's unfortunate that she did not have the long career that as compared to the other women. It was an unfortunate incident where she got stabbed. Some crazy, sick person just happened to come up to her as she's sitting on the bench on the seat and just uh, cut her. And it was a freak situation. And I tell you, it was unfortunate. She was a great player, a fierce competitor, and I do believe that she could have had a much, much longer career had she um, didn't have that unfortunate, um, event. But that's it as far as the the top women and how they do in Grand Slam events. And like I said, it was unfortunate. I just knew Serena was going to win, mainly because she reached that plateau, even as I said, 10.5 months after she gave birth, which is amazing, uh, in itself. So, um, but she has the U.S. Open uh, to look forward to and see how it goes. And we'll see. We will see. All right. So, as I said, for you baseball fans, All Star game tonight. No baseball for 2 more days. I hope you can contain yourselves. And me, I'm fine. I mean, I could always check out the summer league. I could follow other stuff, WNBA. But for those that just focus on one sport, yeah, well, that is it. And All right. So I want to chill just for a few, and when I come back, my featured guest tonight is fitness and health coach with a book entitled "Follow the Program," which it's very interesting to talk to this gentleman about that, and Lord knows I need to read it. Okay, so he could probably give me some advice. Okay, because if you see photos of this gentleman, he's pretty buff. So I gotta try to get to that level one day. But I just love my ribs, man. I don't know. I can't put that down. But so maybe he could tell me how. So we'll see. So hang in there, and we'll be right back.
Get at me for beats, y'all.